Alrighty. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Fearsome Gamer, and I'm going to react to yet another Tom MacDonald song. This time, we're going to do Fake Woke. I'm new to reactions. I don't normally do these. I just started a couple of days ago, so bear with me. But let's just go ahead and dive right into this. I have, as a disclaimer, heard this one before. I just want to give my 2 cents on it.
I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting next.
Yeah, so he's basically saying there that it's crazy that they consider him controversial, considering what he's been basically talking about and pushing is this idea that the music industry in general, but particularly the rap industry, has really pushed this mentality of, for lack of a better term, just gangster life. Um, and it's just, it's glorified this kind of living. And I know personally, I remember when this really started to take off. Um, Many of the people that were around me when I was younger, that's what they wanted to be. Yeah, and it's I think it's particularly true in certain cultures, uh, without digging too deep into that. But it's really I felt like targeting to a younger generation, young and impressionable minds and all. So I think their idea was, and yes, it was intentional. Their idea was to uh, get people in that sort of a lifestyle and that sort of a mentality, uh, because one way or another, they're always trying to strive for, uh, what's the word? Well, I guess just division. So just division, this uh, this sense of you know competition with each other, uh, and promoting promoting this lifestyle that will lead you down a road of likely early death, or violence, causing more issues to society. Basically, here's a way to sum it up: causing problems that will need fixing.
Exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want.
It's more difficult to get a job than it is to purchase a gun. At this time, maybe. I don't know that I fully agree with that, but I get the sentiment. Um, I guess I wouldn't know, because if you're going through the proper chains to get a gun, I feel like it's actually quite difficult. At least where I'm at, it's really quite difficult from what I've heard. I've never tried. Uh, so, but I have friends who have, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's impossible to legally own a gun." But anyway, that's me.
Fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed.
Okay, let's roll it back a little.
Getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed.
Right. So now, is that true? Does he? Now I know what you're thinking. Of course it is. He said so. No, but is it because of that, or is it a um um? I'm really bad with words today. Is it just a result of the situation that he's in? I also have to watch what I say. So extrapolate from that. The situation that he's in perhaps necessitates his need for you to not vote for Trump. Okay, so that's the best way I can put it.
Be American, you should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel.
I cannot preach that enough. Now, it's not true for everyone. It's in fact very untrue. Actually, let's go back. He said, as children, you're taught to. Let's see his exact words.
You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants.
Oh, okay. How to walk and talk. Okay, that's true. I was thinking you said something else there. I don't say like. I thought he was saying, like, implying that as children you're kind of taught to stand up for yourself. So that's certainly not true for most children now. You're actually taught from a very young age these days, from what I can tell, to always be obedient. Now, my case, my brother and I and my sister, we were actually kind of encouraged by our parents to always question things, we'll say. Not to be disrespectful, but not to take everything at face value. Just because somebody said something doesn't make it true. Really think it through.
Adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got me too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the.
Okay, there's a couple things there. So he said that basically everything is getting labeled. And why is that? Again, I like that he paired that with that as adults we're told to sit down and shut up. Well, that's exactly what that's for. It's exactly that. It's to create this sense of discomfort, this sense of, oh, I better just shut up, because if I say something, I'm going to be in all sorts of trouble here. They're going to take it this way, they're going to take it that way, they're going to take it a million different ways, and it's not what I really meant. But it doesn't matter, because once it's out there, and the piranhas will get you. The piranhas of the cancel culture. They'll eat you alive. And then he paired that with, what did he say?
The planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got me too'd or they're rapists. They never. About
the childhood heroes. So it's kind of a separate issue to me. Like it's kind of the same, but what it does is it creates this sense of uncertainty, I guess is the best word for it. So like you can look at them and be like, did they really do that? Because I mean, they might have, they they might have, we know this person and this person did it, why couldn't they? They probably did it too. So then it gets all lumped in together, so you question all of it, and then you don't know who's telling the truth and who isn't. You have to, most people will just throw their hands up and just give up. Like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Some people will just guilty, get the guilty verdict right away, and then some people will just ignore it because they don't know, so they just go on. But it's that way by design. That is information warfare. So they're trying to create this sense of uncertainty so that you don't really know what to believe. But what you have to do is you have to keep rooting yourself in what you do know. Like, I might not know these things for sure, but here's what I do know. And that leads me to think that this set of things might be true. So at least you have a compass.
Freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need the chains. They gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the cage. They knew that
I think this is one of the most powerful things. I'm going to roll this back.
by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need to change. They gave us tiny screens. We think we free because we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame.
He broke it down real simple like there. That is saying decades worth of things in just a few lines. So basically, here's what happened. There's always been this ebb and flow of like power. So it's like power by strength, power by intelligence, power by group, power by strength, power by intelligence, power by group. And it just kind of like keeps fluctuating like this. Uh, I actually started to write a thing about this called The Evolution of Authority. I never did finish that. Maybe I should. So, anyway, this is just my own opinion, of course. How can I have all the facts? But I would say that they got to a point where they were like, okay, we can't control this level of populace by force. We have to get them to want us to control them. So, how do we do that? They've created this situation that I've been talking about. So, and then that's why he talks about the race war and all that. This is a situation, these are problems that need solving, right? They're creating problems. It's the solution you have to think about. Don't look at the problems that are created. Think of the solution, because it's the solution that's their goal.
How these people.
I just want to say he got a lot of flack for his hooks here, or for this hook in particular. I know when it came out, and then I guess a lot of his hooks. I'm not a music critic, so take my opinion for what it is, but I never actually had a problem with this hook. I actually thought this hook was great. It's almost, a lot of his hooks are almost like anthem like. I think it's like a perfect break from the bars. Like, I don't know. To me, I think it works.
Screaming facts, but they fake woke. Hate their neighbor cause he wears a mask or he stays home. Has a daughter, but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue cause they choose.
I don't really hate people for the mask. It's hard for me to really necessarily hate anybody other than, obviously people who really deserve it. But just for in general, like I don't just look at people like, oh, I hate that person. But anyway, I don't really hate people for the mask, but I do wish they would just think about what they're doing. That's it. I mean, honestly, I know that sounds terrible, condescending, maybe insulting, but just think about what you're doing. Because why are you doing it? And then look around you and think, is that necessary? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I can go on for hours on that.
What they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate. Has a daughter, but his favorite artist said he slays hoes. Picks her up from school, music slaps on the way home. Censorship's an issue because they choose what they erase. There's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate.
Right. Censorship is terrible because it's done like everything else. It's done in the name of good. Like it's done like for your benefit. But how do you know that? How do you know? How do you know what they edited out? It's really best at the end of the day. I know it could be bad in some situations, and you would rather not see or hear some of the things that you see or hear. But at the end of the day, wouldn't you just rather know what happened? Really?
I think Black Lives Matter was the stupidest name when the system's screwing everyone exactly the same. I just want to spend Thanksgiving Day with food.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, this just I kind of already covered this. Like they're creating problems that need solutions.
To my family without being accused of celebrating native casualties. We got so divided, it's black and white and political. Republicans are bigots, libtards if you're liberal. There's riots in our streets and it's just getting worse. Y'all screaming deep on the police, y'all are genius for sure. They're underfunded already, they're way too busy to work. Order food and call the cops, see what reaches you first.
And again, I think that depends on the area you're in. Like where I'm at, you're definitely getting the cops first, 100%, 100%. But I get his point. Like, yeah, the cops are extremely busy, and most of the time, vast majority of the time, they are way overworked. Um, and yeah, the answer to bad police isn't taking all their funding away. It's actually funding better programs and better training. I don't know why that's so hard to understand.
Segregation ended, that's a lie in itself. That was a strategy to make us think they were trying to help. They knew that racism was hot if they designed it to sell. We buy up every single box and divide us ourselves.
I like that he throws in a marketing line there. You should really look into marketing. Anyone who has not looked into marketing, I always have to say, just simply look into Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays. He was the nephew of, uh, oh, what's his name? Sigmund Freud. Um, and he is basically like the grandfather of modern marketing. Now he's going to be put in a good light, so like you can take what he's done and be like, oh, they said it was great things, and he really revolutionized marketing. Yeah, but look at what he did. Look at how he did it, and then look at what he did later in his career, and ask yourself, how good is that?
They so fake woke. Facts don't care about feelings. They know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake woke. Same old safe zones. They so fake woke. Facts don't care about your feelings. We use violence to get peace and wonder why it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Politicians are for sale and someone always.
That's so good. Use violence to get peace and wonder why it's not working. It's so good. Yeah.
Makes the purchase, but you and I cannot afford it. Our democracy is worthless. If a man
Pretty much true, but I do want to just say one thing. Let's roll this back because I kind of interrupted it.
for sale and someone it isn't working. That's like sleeping with a football team to try and be a virgin. Politicians are for sale and someone always makes the purchase, but you and I cannot afford it. Our democracy is worthless. If a
Politicians are always for sale, but you and I can't make the purchase. Yeah. So basically saying that money runs this world. To an extent, that's true. But why is that true? It's true because money is power. But what is also power? I would say there's something that is a lot more powerful than money, and that's intelligence. So those who have the information are the ones who really have the power. So don't always think of those who are the richest in the world. Think of those who are in a position to have knowledge.
man has mental illness, call him crazy, say it silently. When country's going crazy, we accept it as society. Get sick and take a pill when the side effect.
Yeah, they're trying to normalize the craziness. But again, that's because this is a problem that requires a solution.
Get you high, you get addicted like these rappers dying, fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots.
Exactly. This brings me back to the whole censorship thing. That's what he's talking about here. So it's better to just know, because then you at least know the truth. It may be terrible. It may be something you would rather you had never heard, but at least you will know. When you have it so censored and so sugar coated, then, kids are being raised now with very little of the same knowledge as people 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You know, it's getting worse and worse. It's just getting worse and worse.
Claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth.
Actually, I hate to dwell on this. I want to roll this back. But I just remembered something that somebody said. There was I want to say he was probably 18, 19 years old, something like that. It was a college student, so maybe even 20. I don't know. Younger person said that he felt like that the younger generation was a lot more educated than the older generation. Educated in what exactly? You might be. I mean, as a literal, just taking it as the literal definition as educated, because educated can be a lot of things. Uh, doesn't necessarily make you useful, doesn't necessarily make you intelligent. Just means you've been educated in a lot of things. I'll give you that. But a lot of those things that have been taught to this younger generation were taught to them with a purpose of causing problems. That's really all it is.
Accepted as society. Get sick and take a pill when the side effects get you high. You get addicted like these rappers dying fighting with sobriety. Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change.
Yeah, it's removing your power. Exactly. I just was talking about knowledge is power. We used to actually hear that. Hmm, funny. I don't think we hear that anymore. But that's exactly right. By causing more and more problems and by removing more and more intelligence, more and more uh, sources, and just pure, how do I put this? Uncorrupted data. So it goes back to what I was saying about your uncertainty, not knowing whether something is true or not. You can't tell. And so that leads to a lack of knowledge, a lack of power. The more knowledge you have, the more power you can actually wield.
That empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen and women. How do we let them make praying a microaggression? Instead of asking God for the strength to keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and then we ask him for forgiveness.
To be fair, I believe that was a joke, but it's quite hilarious.
Feminism used to be the most right.
Just to be clear, the amen and a women. So funny.
Keep winning, we cheat to get ahead and then we ask him for forgiveness. Feminism used to be the most righteous of fights, but these days it feels like they secretly hate guys. I don't trust anyone who bleeds for a week and don't die. I'm just kidding, but everything else that I said is right. They so fake woke, facts don't care.
And yeah, I mean, that's just it was I don't know. This might sound terrible. I don't know if it ever was a good thing. Um, I think, but my personal opinion, I'm just leaving it up to question because I don't have any absolutes or very, very few absolutes in my life. So I do question the origin of it, uh, but I would say I lean towards it probably started out as something good because I mean, look at the situation. You could argue, easily that it was a good thing in the start, obviously. But I think, like everything else, they will take, and of course, we all know who I'm talking about when I say they. They take any sort of situation and they bend it into their direction. So they'll say, "Oh, it looks like we have a little happening going on over here. How can we take this and manipulate this in a way that will lead them in a direction that is beneficial for us?" Yeah, which is basically to dumb it down, to simplify it. I'll say dumb it down sounds insulting, but to simplify it, it's basically just more chaos and division and problems that need solutions. Right? I keep hammering that home. So they used marketing. Again, looking at Edward Bernays. So they use marketing with this marketing techniques in order to manipulate this situation into a direction that is beneficial for their goals. And that's what they do with everything, whether it be natural disaster or um, a random violent act or whatever. Whatever they can latch onto and look at it and say, how can I bend this to make it maximally beneficial to us?
About feelings they know they won't tell me what to believe in. They so fake, whoa, same old, safe zones. They so fake mode. Facts don't care about your feelings.
I do like that he threw in Shapiro's "Facts Don't Care About Your Feelings." That's exactly right. So this is what I keep saying. At the end of the day, a moment of clarity is needed. We're headed towards an era of truth, I think, because we're in an era of maximum lies. Lies have the maximum power right now. You see it everywhere. So uh, all you know basically see is like either lies or half truths or manipulated truths into something untrue. It's I guess it's kind of the same as a half truth, but you have to question everything now. Look at social media. Look at the implementation of AI, which is also for the same reason. Again, put on my foil hat, I guess, but I look at AI as I do everything else. It's something that it could be good, but I think they take it and they use it for the means of watering down the data, we'll say, so that when things come out now, if it's something that's really unusual or it's something that you've never seen before, um, anything like that, you have to look at it and go, it's probably AI. Yeah, that's what most people will do now. You know, and then so if something comes out about the bad guys, they can be like, "Oh no, totally fake footage, guys. Don't worry about it." Yeah, I don't know who thought that that was real, but I mean it's totally fake. Um, so they can claim lies and claim fake, and a lot of people will buy it because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." I mean AI. Lord knows it's probably AI. Yeah. But let me just say this. So you may think that there's no hope because we're getting to an age of faking things is so easy. Pretty much anybody can do it. But how do I put this? So all data has an origin, right? It has a base form. Um, unless it's entirely fabricated. That is its base form. However, uh, that too can be discerned. There are tools, and this will be coming to pass, I believe. I believe that they are going to make it evident what is and what is not. We'll put it that way. A moment of clarity is long overdue, and I think it will become evident to everyone. The truth has to come out because transparency is the only way forward, and that's really all it amounts to. If we can't have transparency, we can't ever truly move forward, and that's why I have to believe transparency is coming. Anyway, that's it from my long and drawn out analysis of this song. I know it's pretty typical of Tom's songs, but I'm a little bit more in depth than others, I would say. Um, anyway, I will try to do more of these in the near future, time permitting, and I will see you all next time. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to see more. I will try to provide more receipts as I go along, as much as I'm able to, censorship and all. All right. Goodbye, everybody.